You're tuned into No Good Music.
And here are your hosts, Rob and Joanne, aka Miss Fab.
Hey everybody, this is Rob.
This is Miss Fab.
Miss Fab is back. She's wearing her, you can't see it, but her Santa hat. Maybe she'll post a photo.
I got the PJs on too.
We are on episode 103, and today we are talking, it's sort of, well, it is a Christmas show about Rudolph, the red-nosed reindeer, and Santa Claus is coming to town. We'll be talking about the Rankin bass shows and the music.
Indeed.
But we're going to start with Rudolph, because we have more on that than, well, I do, than the other one.
Of course.
Even though I like both equally, and there's another one we didn't think we'd have time for, is, what's the other one? Santa Claus is, no.
The year without a
Santa Claus.
Santa. Right.
Yeah. And they're, they show them every year. Of course, they have the DVD. I just got the other DVDs the other day, which has both Santa Claus is coming to town and A Year Without a Santa Claus. Oh, and Miss Fab has all three on there.
I too. Well, it's got Rudolph, Frosty, Santa is coming to town, and the little drummer boy and Frosty returns.
Mm-hmm. Now, I always like the stop motion animation.
Mm-hmm.
This is probably, for Joanne and I, this is something we watched when we were little kids. And, they still show it on TV, these shows. Later on, you had Tim Burton did the stop motion. Even before Rudolph, I read that they were inspired by King Kong, to do these. Because that's how King Kong was done.
Well, it also was started by Arthur Rankin, who was the puppeteer of the shows. The motion was his trips to Japan as well. That's what inspired him.
But I'm saying, King Kong was probably one of the first.
Oh, of course.
Stop motion.
Yeah.
So let's start with Rudolph. Where did Rudolph come from? And it was author Robert L. May. He created the story for Chicago-based Montgomery Ward in 1939. And the store had been buying and giving away children's books each year around Christmas time. And they decided, because they were probably buying these books. Well, they were buying these books from somewhere else, They decided,
right.
Well, let's do our own. They created their own Christmas-themed book. And Robert was given the task. And one interesting thing is, while he was staring out his office window in downtown Chicago, he was thinking about the best way to craft a Christmas story about a reindeer. And a thick fog from Lake Michigan blocked his view, giving him a flash of inspiration. And he said, "Suddenly I had it. A nose, a bright red nose that would shine through fog like a spotlight." So that's how we got the idea for the red nose. And the first year of publication, they gave away 2.4 million copies of the book. Mm-hmm. So it was very popular. Natural that eventually it became a song. I don't know if you, Joanne, if you looked up, Robert May's brother-in-law was Johnny Marks. Yeah.
Yep.
So there was a connection there.
Yep.
And I don't know if you want to tell us about Johnny now, or we can...
Well, just that, yes, they're all kind of like related, but also about Robert May and creating Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. It was in a period, yes, they started with the books that the company, he originally, I think, started at Macy's and then later on Montgomery Ward.
Yeah.
But with the free books as a nice gesture around the holidays, The execs also, they said to him, we want to come out with a book that's just one to give out every single year. And it was during the time that his wife, Evelyn, who was really sick, she was actually dying of cancer. And they said to him, we used to read the poems to his little girl, Barbara, but they said to him to come up with an idea of a character, one that would stand up, be tough enough, that looked kind of sad, but one that would, be able to stand up and hang in there with Santa. And that's sort of also how the reindeer came into play. But moving forward to Johnny Marks, Mr. Christmas music himself, people I don't think realize how many songs that the guy wrote. He is like the king of Christmas songs. So, it stems from all the songs in the featured movies. But, he's most famous, of course, for writing Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, which was 1949 for Gene Autry. And then he wrote Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree, A Holly Jolly Christmas, Silver and Gold, all these featured in the films. I Heard Bells on Christmas Day, Run, Rudolph, Run, and so forth. So
I think he wrote all the songs for the movie.
He did. The most wonderful time of the day of the year.
Yeah, it's just incredible, all those top Christmas songs that we've heard many times.
Right.
I'm sure he wrote some obscure ones too. But that amount, that were like hits.
One after another. Correct. Right. Was it Johnny Marks? All right, let me see if I get this straight. I don't want to mess it up. Yeah, Robert May, of course. He was married to the sister of Johnny Marks.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. That was his sister. So you see how it's like wonderful how they all came together, and how they started from just working as a advertising exec for Macy's and later. And then it turns into a whole Christmas bucket of memories for so many people.
Yeah, because the song was written, let's see. Well, Gene Autry recorded in 1949. So it was a little bit of time later after, the story was written. And you wish you could hear the conversations between Johnny Marks and his, brother-in-law. Maybe they sat down or maybe he said, hey, I want to write a song, about Rudolph.
Listen to it. Right.
He's like, go for it, And in the story, I'm pretty sure it doesn't mention the reindeers' names. And that was just in the song. He came out with the reindeers' names. And our listeners, can you name all the reindeer? Tick, 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 tick. We got Dasher, Dancer, Prancer, and Vixen. Of course, I'm reading.
You're singing the song.
Comet and Cupid.
Cupid and Donner.
And Blitzen. And then there's Rudolph,
the most
of course.
Famous one of all.
So Gene Autry recorded the song on June 27th, 1949. And it was released as a children's record by Columbia Records in September 49. Now, our listeners can't see, but I have the album back here.
Oh, there it is.
And I have to say, it was probably one of my first Christmas albums I ever heard. My mom I still have her stereo, like a console stereo, still have that. And between that and Elvis Christmas album, she probably had Dolly Parton. I think wasn't Dolly Parton Kenny Rogers album? I think I have that one.
Oh, yeah, that was much later in the late 80s or in the early 80s that came out. That was from the Christmas show that they did together, the special, the Kenny and Dolly Christmas, and then the album Once Upon a Christmas, I believe.
But I didn't know who Gene Autry was until I saw the album and him standing stoically on the cover with the reindeer behind him. You know, there's an odd song on there too, that album, 10 Little Indians or something, and it's not even a Christmas song. One little, two little, three little. How serious?
You know, I don't remember that, and I had the same album.
Now, unfortunately, that's not my original. I do have a couple original albums from when I was a kid, but I bought that. I looked it up. I bought that like 4 years ago, but that is an original, not a remastered, but not my original.
Yeah, it looks to
and
be
it
in
plays
good shape.
plays fine. So by November, Columbia began pushing the record to the pop music market. It hit number 1 in the U.S. during Christmas 1949, and the song had been suggested as a B-side for a record Gene Autry was making, probably not the Christmas album. He first rejected it, but his wife convinced him to use it, and the official date of its number 1 status was the week ending January 7th, 1950, making it the first. This is some music trivia here. It made it the first number 1 song of the 1950s.
Wow.
And his version of the song also holds the distinction of being the only chart-topping hit to fall completely off the chart after reaching number 1, because it was a Christmas song, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So he went from number 1. He didn't go like to number 3 or number 5. It just went right off the chart.
Boom.
Now, I do have, before we get into the movie, I do have some other notable recordings of the song. The song was recorded by Bing Crosby in 1950, and his version reached number 6 on the Billboard's best-selling children's records chart. I don't think there's a children's record chart anymore.
Yeah, because he knocked it off the chart.
Yeah.
Right?
1950, Spike Jones and his City Slickers released a version of the song, peaked at number 8 on the same chart. 1951, Red Foley and the Little Foleys peaked at number 8. So this was a very popular song. That was 1951. Then we go to 56, the Cadillacs released a doo-wop version of the song. I should have listened to this because it sounded interesting.
that would have been good.
And that made it to number 11 on Billboard's Rhythm and Blues records charts.
Well,
And then, of course, we have 1960. This was a big one for me, this album, David Seville and the Chipmunks. I think they had a couple Christmas albums.
Mm-hmm.
So they recorded a cover for their album Around the World with the Chipmunks. It wasn't even the Christmas album, but it only made it to number 21. And in their version, Rudolph himself sang with the Chipmunks.
Oh, that's a vision.
His vocals indicating suffering from a cold, hence the red nose. And then this would be reused for the 1961 album Christmas with the Chipmunks. And then another 1994, Very Merry Chipmunk, and a duet with Gene Autry. I think Gene Autry was not around in 1994, but
I don't think so.
Then in 1960, the Melodiers released another doo-wop version, peaked at 72. And then 64, Burl Ives recorded the song. Of course, for the soundtrack, what we're getting to the holiday TV special. And soundtrack album containing Ives' version reached number 92.
That seems like so bad, 92.
Yeah, they didn't like Burl Ives.
I guess not. They knew it was a snowman singing. That's why.
And then 68, The Temptations. And that peaked at number 12. So
wow, that's all I have on that. Yeah, yeah.
So let's go into the movie. We mentioned that it was created by the production duo Rankin Bass. So the company was founded in New York City by Arthur Rankin Jr. and Jules Bass on September 14th, 1960 as Videocraft International, Ltd. And then one of the mainstays of the business was holiday-themed animated specials for airing on American television, which in 1964 the company produced a special for NBC, which is Rudolph, and sponsored General Electric. So Arthur Rankin He was born July 19th, 1924. He passed away in 2014. He was born in New York City. And he began his career as an art director for the American Broadcasting Company in the 1940s. Now, he primarily created the script and sketched the character concepts, which would be made into the wooden puppets by Japanese artists, which we mentioned, including head supervisor and partner. I'm not good with these names. Tadahito Mochinaga. Yeah.
Sounds like a cocktail.
And Maury Laws, who we'll talk about a little bit, was a musical director for Rankin Bass. He stated that Rankin was inspired, and this is what I said before, the film, he's the one that said it was inspired by King Kong.
Mm-hmm.
And that Rankin wanted every detail right in creating these shorts. So do you have anything on Jules?
On Jules, yes, of course. Well, of the pair, of the two, Jules was the musician and songwriter, of course, composer of the duo. In fact, he wrote many lyrics as well to the holiday specials. Two, something else I wanted to mention, that when they started their company, they did not officially change the name because they started doing commercials in the very beginning with animated programs, and they didn't change their name officially until 1968.
Okay.
Yeah, which we'll go into more when we talk about the other shows.
Well, one more thing here about Rudolph, that it was almost 2 decades earlier, in 1948, it had been made into a cartoon by Max Fleischer as a traditional cell animated short for the Jam Handy Film Company, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. And it goes in, so before the one we know and love from 64, there was a cartoon. And I have here all the songs, of course, were written by Johnny Marks. So the film is 52 minutes. I just watched it.
Did you
it was
time
on. It was on. Of course, it's on sporadically. When Joanne and I were little, we only had like 13 channels. It is true, folks. You hear about 13 channels and a clicker or the dial on the TV. So, you had to. This was probably on. It would be on once a year. Along with all the other Christmas shows once. So you had to look in your TV guide,
right?
No internet, and make sure that you were in front of that TV, at 8 o'clock. So I think they started them early, maybe 7 o'clock.
We had no remote control whatsoever. Like you said, you had to go through when that TV guide was released for the week.
Yeah.
And it wasn't aired before Thanksgiving. It wasn't aired after Thanksgiving, like the day after.
There was no marathons.
No, we had to literally wait until, let's say, I'm going to say this week, because I always recall it being on around my birthday week.
Yeah, a couple of weeks before Christmas.
Yes.
Because I was telling my wife the Santa Claus is coming to town. We'll get into that, but that song, that's what started me, like, Christmas is coming. Santa's coming, when you were little. Santa Claus is coming to town.
Oh,
great.
I mean, that was like the big joy. Like, after you watched it, like the first one, I believe, was always Rudolph that aired. And after it was over, you were like, I'll be getting presents before too long,
Yeah, you get real excited.
Yeah.
And you still have to go to school. Like kids today still have to go to school, and you're still thinking of Christmas.
Right.
Or you're maybe you've already made your list by then, I would think, but.
Oh, that's a whole other show. How we used to pick the toys.
Yeah. So the movie, I have some of the plot. I'm sure everybody's seen it, but maybe they haven't. But Donner, he's the lead reindeer for Santa Claus. His wife are surprised to find out their new fawn Rudolph has a glowing red nose. Now, when you first see that, like, as a kid, I mean, it goes into the bullying, you know, the reindeer games you hear in the song. They talk about reindeer games. But just that he was different. I think it's a good message because it has a good ending, because Rudolph kind of saves the day. So his dad, or the lead reindeer, it says lead reindeer. I'm sure it was his dad, right?
Right.
Donner, he attempts to cover up Rudolph's nose with mud, and he even uses a fake nose later on, so he'll fit in with the other reindeer. And then Rudolph goes out to participate in a series of games. Yeah. Now, I always remember on The Simpsons, they did, I don't know if they did the whole song, but I remember Bart Simpson, them singing Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. And when they say, and you know, about the reindeer games, Bart goes, and even Monopoly. I don't know why I remember that. I don't know why that comes to mind. So whenever I hear this song and that part, I'd say, and Monopoly, you know. And now there's a doe. Her name's Clarice, and she likes Rudolph. She tells him he's cute, and it makes Rudolph fly, you know.
Rudolph gets excited.
Yeah, his fake nose pops off, and then he ends up meeting Hermie, who a lot of people think his name was Herbie.
I know, right?
Now, I got the idea that they misspelled his name on the toys or something, because they said people were calling him Herbie. So I'm not sure about that. Or they were just hearing it wrong. You know?
You mean on the island of misfit toys? You think it's
No, I mean when they came out with like a toy of Hermie. I couldn't figure out if they just heard it wrong, because it said a lot of people thought his name was Herbie.
Probably the way the elf says it in the movie. He goes, Herbie. The way he pronounces. So maybe that's what they're saying, because he does. I bet you that's what it is. We'll play it one day and see if it sounds Herbie.
See, I should have had a sound bite, but I didn't. And he wants to become a dentist. There's Yukon Cornelius. He's a prospector. And it says who has spent his life searching for silver and gold. But we find out, interesting thing is that he's really not searching for silver and gold. He's searching for candy. He's always, I'm serious, people have figured out he's licking that pick every time. Yeah. And then at the end, he licks it and he says, peppermint. Yeah. He's finally found a peppermint mine. He's looking for candy. He's a candy nut. Yeah. Yeah. Something
new I found out all these years later.
Yeah.
Jesus. Oh my gosh. I did wonder why he was always licking that pick.
Yeah.
You know, but I just thought he was awkward, you know? Or like ice.
He was off,
was it
a little off.
Was it ice, you know? Not peppermint. He does.
And also Rudolph is I don't know if I thought about it much, but you know, if it was a kid or not doing the voice, but it is a woman. Billy Mae Richards.
Yes.
Let's see. Well, of course, Burl Ives is Sam the Snowman. Larry Mann is Yukon Cornelius. These are Canadian voice-over people. That's why you might not know the names except Burl Ives, who I don't think was Canadian. But
I don't believe so. Then you had Paul Soules was Hermie.
And then this one guy he was Santa Claus, Stan Francis, and King Moonracer. But you have others that were doing different voices for the different characters. This one guy did Fireball, Charlie in the Box, various male elves. Like I said, some, unknowns, which is fine because they're known for, this animated feature. I don't know if you want to say anything more about the show. Have you seen it recently, or did you see it this year?
I haven't. Yeah. I've not had a chance to watch it this year. we all know that I watched it so many times it would probably last me times 10 years for each lifetime. But just the songs that were, generated from the film, like Rudolph, the Red-Nosed Reindeer, Jingle, 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 the ones that I mentioned earlier on, were all related to pieces in the show and stay with you for the rest of your life. You hear them one year and they stay with you forever.
Well, we can go into the soundtrack here. So, of course, it's from 1964. We said Johnny Marks wrote all the songs. It was reissued as a CD, not until 1995. Of course, CDs were just around in the 90s. It was certified gold, the CD, on November 30th, 2004. The album has sold 1,411,200 copies in the U.S. since 91. That's when they started keeping track of the sales. So we have Holly Jolly Christmas. I really love that song, though, that song, Burl Ives.
It is special.
It's a warm, his voice, just, he seemed like I don't know much about Burl Ives, but he seemed like a nice guy, like a friendly guy.
Well, out of all the singers to the soundtrack, Burl Ives was the smart one because all the other, like the voice actors, they did not get any royalty from the show.
Yeah.
However, Burl was the only actor who actually got royalties. And later on, it actually, like, they continued to go to, even after he died, they continued to go to his estate, where all the other actors got a flat rate, which was like, I think it was $1,000 each. And that was it. So, I mean, like today's money, what would that be? Like $5,000 perhaps? But that's it. Yeah. Burl, he was the smart one who got royalties.
Yeah, he probably got a lot of money for every time they played that.
Right.
I mean, I assume, I should have looked him up more, but I assume he had other albums, regular albums, Burl Ives, but I only know him. Yeah. It's sad because a lot of people only know him, like me, because of the Holly Jolly Christmas and the Christmas songs,
Right.
So then we have Jingle, Jingle, Jingle. A lot of these songs are just a minute, and they're less than 2 minutes long. We Are Santa's Elves, There's Always Tomorrow, We're a Couple of Misfits, Silver and Gold, The Most Wonderful Day of the Year, and Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Finale. So I have some fun facts about Rudolph. Now I got these from a couple different places. Hopefully they're true.
Yeah, they best be.
So in the beginning of the movie, you see where they have Roman numerals, which I always hated. I think Disney did that to figure out what year.
I know, you'd be counting.
But they have the wrong Roman numerals for Rudolph. And it actually says 1164 instead of
I
1964.
thought I remembered that. Yes, because they would stamp it. Didn't they have like the hammer and they would stamp it?
Yeah, something like, or it's on one of the images in the beginning, like on a sign or something. I don't know. I think with the name of the movie underneath it. So the original broadcast had the Misfit toys stranded on the island with no rescue, and they were flooded with letters after it first aired. Yeah. And they went back and reshot. They still had the puppets and stuff. And they reshot a new scene, which we see today, of the toys being rescued. They're being dropped out of a sled.
Yeah.
With umbrellas.
Right. And they go up to Santa and go fly into the bag of toys.
And there was a bird that couldn't fly.
Yes.
And he flies out of the sled. I never noticed it before. little things.
I th-
So he can fly now. And we already said the voice was not of that of a boy.
mm-hmm.
Billy May Richards. Now this is sad. After the film aired, the puppets of Santa and Rudolph were stored away in an attic. I also heard that the other figures were stored in the attic. This woman who worked on the movie, I guess she was given the puppets. I know they said Rudolph. There were hundreds of Rudolphs, but who knows what happened to them, right? Because each pose somehow,
right,
like especially for him and not mainly the other ones. Now they were found years later, and I saw pictures of them, and it was so hot in that attic they started to melt.
Oh no!
So they were restored to their original, likeness. There is, if you go on YouTube, Antiques Roadshow,
Mm-hmm.
the guy whose, I think, grandmother maybe had him in her attic. They were appraised at only like $5,000 a piece at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think when they went to auction, they sold for like over like 200,000, some like outrageous.
Of course.
But it seems like there's only those two figures remaining that I could find.
Huh.
And they're in a museum in Atlanta. If anyone wants to check, there's a puppetry museum, which I'd actually go to because I like puppets.
Yeah, yeah. Can you imagine if they did not melt in the attic, what they would have brought in?
Well,
original?
it said it cost them $4,000 to restore. So they made a lot more money by reselling them then. Now, Santa's sleigh only had 6 reindeer instead of 8 at the end. And one of the project leaders said because they couldn't use all 8 because of technical reasons,
Mm-hmm.
they didn't have enough string, I guess. You can see the string, too, sometimes.
It's just like the little bits and pieces of The Wizard of Oz that we watch a film for how many years, and then later on you hear, oh, did you see, behind the tree of the apples, the men running behind. It just sounds like the same thing.
Well, that one, they originally said that guy was like hanging himself, which he wasn't. He was just doing exercises or something. There's some guy doing stretches or something.
Well, he probably had the ruby slippers stuck to his feet when he shouldn't have.
He probably, yeah.
He was trying them on. That's what he was doing.
Oh, here it is. The animators created more than 200 Rudolph puppets.
Wow.
And Jack Robber explained they spent 2 days observing deer to get Rudolph's moves down.
Mm-hmm.
2 days. And the flying effect was used with strings. Like I just said, you can see some of the strings. It took 18 months to create this. It's funny because they're on YouTube. There's, with this AI, they plug in all this stuff and it puts pictures up. So this woman's name was Helen Carter. In the YouTube video, when he mentions Helen Carter, they show a picture of Helen Bonham Carter, who was the actress.
Oh, jeez.
She was married to Tim Burton, maybe still is, but it's not her. It's not the same person.
See, that's a problem with AI.
Now, the puppets had to be moved 24 times per second.
Wow. Yeah.
It's just, you have to give these people credit for creating something unique, but you have to move the hand a little bit, shoot it, move. I mean, that's what they're doing all day.
Right.
And Santa when I saw the video on the museum, they showed that even the fingers moved. So yeah, Santa's fingers, each finger could move. Probably he could bend his legs, all that. They were very movable.
You've never gone to Disney, have you?
Yeah.
Right. Well, do you remember when they would show you the Mickey cartoon when it started, how the whole process, and how the pages go.
Oh, yeah.
And they flip.
Similar to that.
Right, with the puppets.
Yeah. Yeah, that's even the animation, when they do the illustrations to draw each frame.
But imagine doing it with a puppet, having
Yeah.
to do it with the puppet.
And they've done some recently like that. I recall one with George Clooney. It was with a fox. I forget, something Fabulous Fox.
Oh,
And it's with
fabulous.
puppets. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's a song in this, We're a Couple of Misfits, which we know.
Mm-hmm.
But do you know it was gone for 3 decades? They removed the song and they replaced it with Fame and Fortune. Again, if you go on YouTube, you can see the Fame and Fortune scene. But now they restored it. It wasn't until 1998 when the film was released on home video that it was brought back. I don't know why.
No, I mean,
I think it was copyright. But if Johnny Marks wrote all these songs, I don't know
mm-hmm.
why it would be like that. Unless they sold that song to someone else had rights to it, and then they didn't want to use it.
Well, there was something wasn't it with RCA Records that time with rights? I think with Rudolph.
Oh, maybe. I don't
In
know.
the beginning, yes, it might have been RCA.
But this is just this one song, so I don't
Yeah.
know. So Burl Ives, of course, played Sam the Snowman, and the character wasn't initially in the script. Supposedly, after reading the script, he was supposed to be in the movie, but I don't know. I think he wasn't. He was just supposed to be a character, but not a narrator. And I don't know if he suggested that it would be nice to have it narrated or something. I don't know. So the film was an international collaboration. You had mentioned about Japanese, animators. But so the script was written in New York. The voice work was done in Toronto. That's why you have all the people from Canada doing the voices. The music was composed and recorded in London, and the animation was done in Japan.
That's spectacular for that time.
So to put this all together, I mean, you have to think, did they do the voice work? They were and they had to piece it all together. It wasn't like they were moving the puppets and they were talking, Oh, and then after 50 years, it began on NBC. It was first aired, right? Then it went to CBS. And just recently, it was back on NBC after 50 years. I don't know if it's still on NBC.
Yeah, I watch it on a different channel anyway.
Yeah, I think other channels, like TNT maybe, or, other channels show it.
Yes.
And the film cost $500,000, which is a lot, I would think, back then. $500,000.
It is.
Now, to create Rudolph's glowing nose, a 12-volt light bulb was placed in his puppet nose.
12-volt.
Each time they filmed, they had to adjust the brightness of the bulb. I don't know how.
Well, I'm trying to have a visual because I guess they would have to have it dimmer if they put that black putty, dirt on his nose. So I guess they'd have to adjust the voltage, right?
At a dimmer switch.
Right. I don't know.
And then lastly, Santa's beard. I know everybody was wondering what it's made out of. It's made out of yak hair.
Yak hair?
Yeah, from a yak. Every time they filmed, they had to comb it and keep it perfect.
Well, he did have perfect hair. It was nice and smooth and shiny. Oh my God.
And lastly, I don't know if this is true. Burl Ives recorded his parts without any pants on. Oh, no,
come on.
I added that. Okay.
Get out of here. And one left shoe, right?
So I think that does it for Rudolph. We're going to go into Santa Claus is coming to town, folks.
Santa Claus is coming to town.
The one thing about Santa is that I saw a video recently. I don't know if it might be a year or two old. I don't think it's new, but this little girl it looks like they're in a restaurant, but there's a bar there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you see this little girl looking over at this guy at the bar, and he looks like Santa Claus. And her mom goes over to the guy and probably says, my daughter thinks you're Santa. Will you play along, right? And then she motions for her daughter to come over. Mm-hmm. And it's really endearing, it's like, and I'm sure she's telling him what she wants for Christmas. And I just thought of that, thinking of Santa Claus. If he were real.
I would like to think everyone would participate if that would happen.
Oh, yeah.
With a small child. And who are we to say that he's not real?
Yeah.
Right?
And I know I've told this story before. It's very short, but when I grew up, my bedroom was across from our bathroom. We didn't have a chimney. We did have a chimney, but we didn't have a fireplace, let's say, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the chimney, went to the furnace, but went through the closet door in the bathroom, down to the furnace. So I had in my head that Santa was going to come down the chimney and through the bathroom, like come out the bathroom closet door. So I would sit there and listen. If I could hear Santa, he would be coming out from the bathroom. I don't know how, because there was I don't think there was an opening in the chimney in the, in the closet.
Oh my God.
But, when you're little, you have,
quite an imagination.
Yeah.
I could picture you sitting by the bathroom door,
mm-hmm.
With your head resting on your arm, sound
mm-hmm.
asleep, Oh, the imagination.
So Santa Claus is coming to town. Came out in 1970, and of course it's another stop motion Christmas special produced by Rankin Bass. Now the film's narrated by Fred Astaire, and we have Mickey Rooney, one of my favorites, Keenan Wynn, Robbie Lester, Joan Gardner, and Paul Frees. As well as assistant song performance by the Westminster Children's Choir. Now, I have a little bit of the plot here, and I just watched this last night again. So the film tells the story of Santa Claus, and several Claus-related Christmas traditions come to be, and it's based on the hit Christmas song Santa Claus is Coming to Town, which is written by J. Fred Coots.
The names.
Sold over 4 million copies of sheet music. Probably not anymore, but, back in the day.
Yeah.
Oh, and it was also co-written by Haven. This is a name, Haven Gillespie.
The composer, yes.
For Leo Feist, Inc. And it was introduced on radio by Eddie Cantor in 1934, and the story of St. Nicholas. So the song has been recorded by over 200 artists, including Bruce Springsteen, Frank Sinatra, and Michael Jackson. Yep. And the earliest recorded version was by banjoist Harry Reeser and his orchestra on October 24th, 1934. Going way back.
Picking in the grinning.
Coming to town.
I know.
I don't have a banjo, so maybe Steve Martin to do a version of it.
Yeah, right. Oh.
Now, when the movie came out, it was the same year that the Jacksons released their song on their Christmas album, Jackson 5 Christmas album. Peaked at number 36. I think the album peaked on number 36. So I have something on Fred and Haven, or do you have anything on them?
No, I just have about J. Fred Coots, the American songwriter, and Haven, Gillespie, just as we talked about, being the composer and lyricist, and their name, Coots and Gillespie.
Mm-hmm.
Say that 3 times fast.
So Fred Coots, he was born in Brooklyn in 1897, When he was 17 years old, he began to work for Farmers Loan and Trust Company in New York. And in 1916, so he would have been 19 years old, his first successful song was published, which was Mr. Ford, You've Got the Right Idea.
Oh my, it sounds like a a song.
It probably was.
Right?
Maybe it was.
Yeah.
I mean, he was working for Loan and Trust. I don't know if he was working for Ford at the time.
It was implying that you should go get a bank loan for Ford at my bank.
So Haven Gillespie, he was born in 1888 in Covington, Kentucky. He was one of 9 children, and they were so poor they lived in the basement of someone's house. And he eventually moved to Chicago to join his brother-in-law's printing company. And eventually he got into songwriting. And I don't have a list of songs from him, but he was very prolific. So that was what he made his money doing, was writing songs, especially, co-writing Santa Claus is Coming to Town. Now let's talk about the TV special. I think they used the same, it says they used Japanese stop motion animation, company. Oh, it says the same company. Yes, they used for Rudolph. And this was originally telecast December 13th, 1970 by ABC, which continues to air the special every year, and along with its sister network, Freeform. And it says at times both networks have edited the special to make room for commercials. Boo.
Of course.
So here's a little bit about the plot. Like I said, I just watched this again last night. It's probably been years since I watched it, like completely.
Oh.
Because when you're flipping channels, if it's on, you might watch a little bit of it or whatever. But in the beginning, they actually have real footage of kids like looking in window, like looking for Christmas gifts, or I don't know if it's New York. It's in black and white, of course. It's a newsreel. They're preparing for the arrival of Santa. And that's when we see Fred Astaire's character in this specially made postal truck that has, it's got some, what's it got on it? It's got sled, like skis on the front. Yeah. And it's got traction on the back so you can go in the snow. Now his name is S.D. Kluger, for Special Delivery Kluger.
See, I didn't know that. I knew it was S.T., but.
And his mail truck breaks down, and he proceeds to tell the story of Santa. This kind of irked me, and maybe I didn't notice it before, but he's opening these letters. He's taking these letters out of, it's illegal.
See what they're teaching the future? I mean, by doing that.
He's just opening, letters and reading them to the public,
Yeah.
So he tells a story of, I guess, how Santa Claus became Santa Claus. And it starts with a baby named Claus. He arrives on the doorstep of the Burgermeister Meisterburger. And he's the mayor of Sombertown. He's named. I like his servant, that Grimsley. I like that guy. He's pretty funny. So then they take him to the local orphanage, but a gust of wind sweeps the baby away. And he's rescued by a group of animals. And they take him to the Kringles, a family of elves. And they rename him Chris. And they raise him. They teach him how to make toys. The Burgermeister, he outlaws toys. Then they go into the future. Not the future, but the present, probably. How the Burgermeister's family, they're all gone now, and everything, everything's fine. So it's basically the origins of Kris Kringle. I don't know how he became Santa. I don't know how they got the word Santa. His last name is Claus.
Well, you better go ask Tanta and see what she says.
Who?
Tanta Kringle. Oh. See what she says.
And one fun fact is the adult puppet of Kris Kringle, he was actually taller than Mickey Rooney in real life. No, I'm just joking.
I was going to say, isn't anybody taller? I think I'm taller.
Okay, that's another joke.
Now you leave Mickey out of this. Oh,
and Chris marries this girl he meets, Jessica. I didn't realize I had more stuff here.
I guess you did.
So getting back into it, soon after Chris, he's now sporting a beard. He returns to his Claus name and he marries Jessica. And they travel to the North Pole to establish a workshop. Yeah, he becomes Santa Claus, like I said. Due to the rising demand for toys, Santa limits his gift giving. See, this is what I didn't realize, that he was just giving gifts daily, right?
Oh.
In Somber Town, I think they locked the doors.
Oh, yes.
But the kids were leaving them open at first if they wanted a toy. And then they were told to make sure all the doors were locked. And then he decided to go down through the chimney. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, an interesting fact is that they somehow didn't ban, but they edited in the beginning again, him, I guess, saying, we can't go through the front door. How can we get in the house? Because they thought kids were going to climb up on the roof or try and get in the house like a different way or something.
Yeah.
So I don't think they edited out the whole thing with him going down the chimney, but with him saying, we can't go through the front door, there's got to be another way. So, and then at the end, we have S.D. Kluger. He suddenly remembers that he has to deliver the letters to Santa. And I have here, I think Fred Astaire had a few cocktails. And he departs on his truck with Topper, Winter, and a parade of children singing the title song. And I think Topper, is a rabbit.
I was going to say either that or a bird. I forget.
Yeah. Like we said, the voice actors, we'll go over it again. Fred Astaire, of course. And if you don't know who Fred Astaire, he was a actor, dancer. It's sad, but he's probably one of these people that has been forgotten. Don't you think?
Yeah, he and Danny Kaye as well.
Yeah. Also Mickey Rooney, I don't think most people know who he is.
True.
Mickey Rooney was at the autograph show in New Jersey years ago. And I should have met him. I saw him. But Davy Jones was at that one. And I could kick myself for not talking to Mickey Rooney because he's not with us anymore. But
I know. The one that always gets me with Mickey Rooney is the Love Boat episode.
Oh, really?
Did you ever see that with Mickey Rooney as Santa?
I probably did, but not since.
It's a really special one. Every time it's on, I make sure I'm like, oh, they're playing that one. It's really sweet.
And then we have Keenan Wynn, who I guess he was an actor, but his father was back in the day. His father was Ed Wynn, who was very famous, like comedian. I think he was on every show that was on at the time, like variety shows and stuff. We have Robbie Lester as Miss Jessica, and Paul Frees. He did all these voices. He was the Burgermeister, Meisterburger. He was also Grimsley, so he's talking to himself. He was Topper. He was a horse and a seal. He was the guards. He was the doctor. He was the newsreel announcer. He was the Kringle brothers, Dingle, Bingle, Tingle, Wingle, and Zingle. Did you know that? They had names. He was the male townspeople, the businessman, Scrooge-related man, tree monsters, Willie Willow, and Peter Pine. I think they just gave them those names afterward. So he was all those voices. I find it interesting. He was not only the Burgermeister, but also his assistant, Grimsley. Like that was him.
They'd have to say voice 1, voice 2, not all those names. Absolutely. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Dingle, Bingle. They should have written a song about them. The Kringle brothers.
Dingle, bingle, dingle.
Dingle, bingle, tingle, wingle, and zingle too.
It was probably against FCC that they couldn't sing a song to it.
And then we had
Oh
a
my.
couple others. Greg
Mhm.
Thomas, he voiced Kris Kringle as a child and a baby. Now, the soundtrack, we have The First Toy Makers to the King, No More Toy Makers to the King. Oh, and by the way, one other thing is the reason I guess the Meister Burger, he's kind of fed up with toys to begin with, but he's walking down the stairs and he trips over a duck.
Yes, and he breaks his leg.
Yeah, and that kind of sets him off for No More Toys. Then we have, let's see, the song Be Prepared to Pay. Now, this song, this title does not sound good, in today's world. If you sit on my lap today, I'm serious. That's the other name for this song, Be Prepared to Pay.
Now,
Chris,
could you, oh my God, could you imagine today? That would
yeah.
never, ever fly.
And then my favorite of all favorites, and I'm telling you, this is one of my favorite, I think, movie songs. I mean, there's a bunch, but Put One Foot in Front of the Other.
Right?
I just always love this song, and you have, Mickey Rooney singing this and Winter featuring the Mike Sam singers. And it was written by Maury Laws, this song. You think you can find everything about everything on the internet, but some songs I would have liked to have known how some of these songs came together. How he wrote that song, how that came to him.
Mm-hmm.
If he was still around, maybe we would interview him and find out.
Oh, well, yeah, because it makes sense. You put one foot in front of another, and soon you'll be walking out the door. Well, no shit, but just the whole theory behind it and how they did the film, and how you could picture Kris Kringle, marching, with his
It's
little
such a
red
happy
hair,
song, just the way that
it's
song's
like,
written. Now, if you go on, mainly, I think it's on TikTok. There's a guy. I think he did it last year. He sings. He's not singing. He's lip syncing to this song, and he's doing these stop motion. But people think he's just like moving like that. Like he's not. Normally, you would take out like a frame here, a frame there to make it look like that. But he's really good. And I saw a new video. And the thing was, he doesn't do anything elaborate.
yeah,
He's like outside on his patio, and then he's walking by the side of the house. It's not like he's, got made up a background to go with it or anything.
Mm-hmm.
But that's where I hear this song all the time is, people recreating
From him.
the stop motion. Yeah. Then we have My World is Beginning Today, sung by Jessica. That's not my favorite.
No.
And then we have Wedding Song, aka What Better Way to Tell You. And of course, Santa Claus is Coming to Town, which is sung by Fred Astaire.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there was a vinyl version of the soundtrack. It was issued in 1970 to promote the special. Now, when Viacom syndicated a special to local television stations in the 80s and 90s, the songs were shortened, except Put One Foot in Front of the Other. They left that entire song. And What Better Way to Tell You was removed entirely. And again, it was probably because of commercials.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they've cut several scenes, and I tried to explain it earlier, but I have it here, deemed inappropriate for children audiences, such as Chris climbing and leaping to escape, which was cut to prevent children from trying to imitate the same stunt. It says leaping, climbing and leaping. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
I thought it was breaking into the house, but
Yeah, because he's got the ladder.
Winter Warlock, knowing Chris will return and telling him he will never escape, was also cut, and the scene or deemed inappropriate. And the scene in which the Burgermeister torches the seized toys in front of the children of Sombertown. It doesn't say it was cut, but inappropriate. But what isn't anymore,
Right, exactly.
This podcast is probably inappropriate. No.
If somebody will say, that's right.
How dare you talk about Mickey Rooney like that?
That's right.
Oh, actually, they did cut. I'm sorry. I can't read my own notes. Cuts. They did cut. And then in 2019, they were restored.
because nobody cared in
Yeah.
2019.
Yeah. Did you know this was a book? In 2008, it was turned into a novelization written by Sierra Harriman with watercolor illustrations by Michael Kolch. It sounds like it's just a children's, book
Well, I mean,
with narration or telling the story and with illustrations in it. This is what I didn't know, is that it was a video game in 2011
no.
for the Nintendo DS and the Wii. And we had a Wii. Players would assume the role of Kris Kringle and complete various holiday-themed tasks, where players progress through short storybook-style chapters retelling key moments from the TV special. And I did find on YouTube, you can go and you can see people playing this game, and it looks pretty good, actually, for what it is.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the Burgermeister's in there, and you're Kris Kringle running around the town, breaking in places.
Climbing up on the ladder to get in the window.
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe he didn't run out and buy it.
I don't know. I'm thinking about buying another Wii now.
See?
I think that's about it. I don't know what else we can.
Well, we could mention, is the catalog.
Okay.
The catalog and when it was sold. So there's two, actually. There's two. There's a pre-September 1974, and then there's post-September of 1974. For the amount, I don't know that, but I can tell you pre-September of 1974, NBC and Universal DreamWorks purchased a portion, and then post September of 1974, of course, Warner Brothers bought the other portion. So
well, you can see even with the merchandise, part of it.
You could tell probably who's who.
Because I've seen they have like toys and different things based on the characters, especially the what's he called? I always call him the Abominable Snowman.
Oh, yes.
What's it called? A Grimble or something?
Wait a minute. Oh,
he has a name.
Not Grimble. It's a Bumble.
Bumble. Yeah.
Yes, Bumble.
Yeah, I have a Bumble. He stands probably about 3 feet, 4 feet. Yeah, and he lights up. I don't like to put him outside though, because I don't want him to
blow away,
get dirty or get with the weather and. Yeah. So I've had him for a while, and he looks like he's new. That's why, because I keep him in the house. I usually put him by the Christmas tree. Yeah.
Yes, of course, you would have to have him by the tree to put the star on top.
The dogs don't like him, but our one dog, when we first got her, if anything that had a face, I had to move I have the Honeymooners, Ed Norton and Ralph Cramden, those Esco, those statues. Because they have faces that the dog was confused. So I probably thought it was a little person, or I don't know what it was. Or some, like a shrunk down person. Not a little person, but it was confused, didn't know what it was, thought it was real. So.
Oh, that's cute.
Well, thank you, Miss
All right, my friend,
for joining me. And before we go, just if anyone wants to email us, I'm the one that checks the email, but nogoodmusicpodcast@gmail.com. I don't know if you want to mention your place where you work too.
Yeah, no, we have our holiday recitals are coming up at the Rockbox Music School later on this month, and I'd like to mention that yours truly will be performing my
drum solo?
Yeah. With my teacher, Oh Holy Night, the two of us.
Nice.
I'd say it was my first, but it really isn't, because the cowbell in the 70s show was my unofficial performance. So this is really like my first prim proper practicing for performance. So it's going to be an all-day extravaganza. And if anybody needs information, they could visit our website at the rockboxmusicschool.com. for all the details.
Mm-hmm. And that's in
Northport, Florida. That's
Northport,
right.
Florida, USA. So,
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So thank you. Hope everybody enjoyed us talking about these shows. You know, and it's these shows are ones like we just said a couple of times that they're still shown every year. So, you know, it doesn't matter if you're our age, older, younger. Like if you're even like 20, I think you've probably seen these when you were a kid. You know, that's the beauty of it. They've constantly every year been shown, just like The Wizard of Oz, you know, certain shows like that. You know, music's a little different in whether you know who the Beatles are or not, you know, whether you listen to an album, but this is different. Each generation, I would think, like I would want my son has seen these shows, and, you know, maybe his kids will see these shows, you know. And,
I think it'll continue, you know, generation to generation, because their parents have watched it. So they're going to have their kids, grandkids, because it never gets old. Even we adults are, you know, how old now? And we say, oh, guess what's on tonight? You know, Frosty or Rudolph. And we get excited like we were 5 again or 6. So,
and I'm pretty sure I didn't have a chance to look, but I have it. I think I have a CD of, I don't think it's just Rudolph, probably the Rankin bass specials, like those songs. It's a soundtrack. So those are still, when I hear those songs come up, they just bring back a lot of memories from the show.
I know. It gives a little twinkle in the eye. It does.
So thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Listening. Yes.
And remember to turn off that TV
and turn up the music.
You've been listening to No Good Music, intro and exit music by the band 99%. Today's episode was recorded live and slightly edited for your listening enjoyment at the Did You Say 7 Studios in Washington, New Jersey. You can find No Good Music on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora, our host site Podbean, and mostly anywhere you listen to podcasts. Be sure to follow our Facebook and Instagram pages. And as always, thank you for listening.